So, Mr. Bessent, Secretary Bessent, I'd like to start with a very simple question. Will this bill increase or decrease the deficit?
They're varying scoring on that, Senator Warren.
You're the Secretary of the Treasury, so I'm asking you. What is your view? Will this bill increase or decrease the deficit?
I am answering it.
No, you're not.
And what I want is for Medicaid to be used for mothers and children as it was meant, not for 1.4 million illegal aliens.
The moment Senator Elizabeth Warren tried to corner Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Medicaid, illegal immigration, and the national debt, she didn't expect him to hit back with cold, hard facts. But he did, and the entire narrative she walked in with collapsed right in front of her. What you're about to see exposes exactly how deeply Democrats rely on distortion rather than truth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I want to ask about the Republican big, beautiful bill, which will knock about 16 million people off their health care coverage and cut programs that keep groceries cheaper for millions of families in order to try to pay for about $4 trillion in tax giveaways that are mostly going to be sucked up by millionaires, billionaires, and wealthy corporations. So, Mr. Bessent, Secretary Bessent, I'd like to start with a very simple question. Will this bill increase or decrease the deficit?
They're varying scoring on that, Senator Warren.
You're the Secretary of the Treasury, so I'm asking you. What is your view? Will this bill increase or decrease the deficit?
It is my view that over the 10-year window, it will decrease.
You know, do you have anybody who agrees with you on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask my question.
Okay.
Every credible independent expert agrees that Trump and the Republicans' big, beautiful bill would add trillions of dollars to the national debt and would not even come close to paying for itself. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, the Penn-Wharton budget model, and the Yale Budget Lab all agree on this, and they're looking at 10-year windows, thank you. So do the Conservative Tax Foundation and Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, conservative groups. Even Elon Musk and the Wall Street Journal are criticizing the bill for ballooning the national debt. The only people who are saying publicly that it's not going to add to the national debt are you, Donald Trump, the Republicans in Congress. Do you have an independent group that has put forward numbers that disagrees with all of these conservative groups and disagrees with the Wall Street Journal on this?
Well, Senator, interesting to see you aligned with Elon Musk, but if I add...
You're no more shocked than I am.
If we want to take the full congressional budget scoring, they predict, and I don't agree with their methodology, they predict a $2.4 trillion deficit. But
okay, so the answer to the question is yes.
No, but may I finish? They include that, but they've also scored $2.8 trillion in tariff income. So even in Washington, D.C. math,
okay, so,
in Washington, D.C. math, that is a $400 billion surplus.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. This bill, you admit, will increase the deficit by $2.4 trillion, but you think there will be another bill and another set of agreements that somehow materialize, haven't materialized so far, don't have any statutory authority, but that will make up the difference. So the answer to the original question, will this bill increase or decrease the deficit? I think you just said it will increase. This bill increases the deficit.
No, I want to use all the CBO scoring, and you can't take one without the other. I don't agree with the CBO.
One is the law that we are scoring, the bill that is in front of us. We don't have a tariff bill in front of us to score. Mr. Secretary, let me go on to the second question. You have said that government spending is, quote, out of control. You have also called government spending, quote, unsustainable. In fact, in the name of fiscal responsibility, you're working with the Republicans on this big, beautiful bill to pass the biggest cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act in American history. So, Mr. Secretary, help me understand here. Why is the national debt so very important that you're trying to kick 16 million people off their health insurance, but increasing the national debt doesn't seem to matter if you're cutting taxes for billionaires and billionaire corporations?
Well, first of all, a huge portion of this goes to family-owned businesses that are pass-through entities that are below that level, Senator, and I am sure you share my goals of Main Street prosperity.
You know, I'm glad to do tax cuts for people of modest means. The question I'm asking is, why does the deficit not matter to you? We're talking about knocking 16 million people off their health care, but it matters not. It does matter to you if we're knocking people off health care, but not.
Well, first of all, that figure is overstated by 5.1 million. That is amount not attributable to provisions in this bill.
So you think it's okay just to knock 10 million people off their health care?
First of all, let's set that straight. Work requirements account for 8 million of CBO's claim number. Again, we're creating an economy that promotes and rewards.
It's clear, Secretary Bessent, that you don't want to answer the question.
No, Senator, I am answering it.
No, you're not.
And what I want is for Medicaid to be used for mothers and children as it was meant, not for 1.4 million illegal aliens, not for able-bodied people.
Medicaid is not used for people who are not documented. Mr. Chairman, I just want to say here, the part that troubles me the most is that the Secretary is deeply worried about the deficit and is willing to knock 16 million, or as he says, merely 11 million people off their health care. Matters so much, but it doesn't matter so much if you're cutting taxes for billionaires. Then it's okay to run up a big deficit. I think that's wrong.
Welcome back to the channel. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a breakdown the mainstream media refuses to give you. It helps this channel fight back against big tech censorship and gets the truth in front of more Americans. Now, let's talk about this exchange, because it was something else. Senator Elizabeth Warren walked into this hearing ready to deliver one of her trademark lectures, a dramatic performance about Republicans supposedly ripping healthcare away from millions of people. She came armed with talking points, not facts. And Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent calmly shredded every one of them. Warren kept repeating that the Republican bill would knock 16 million people off health care. But Bessent immediately corrected her, pointing out that her numbers were inflated by millions, and that a huge portion of what she called people losing coverage were actually able-bodied individuals expected to meet simple work requirements. Requirements that most Americans support. But the moment that really shut down the room was when Warren tried to insist that Medicaid doesn't cover illegal immigrants. Bessent refused to dance around it. He flatly stated that 1.4 million illegal aliens are receiving Medicaid benefits. That was the point Warren completely froze. Democrats hate when the truth breaks through their narrative, especially on immigration. They pretend our border crisis isn't costing taxpayers billions. They pretend the system isn't being abused. They pretend citizens aren't paying the price. Bessent called it out directly, and Warren had no answer. Then Warren pivoted to the deficit, accusing Republicans of only caring about fiscal responsibility when it comes to cutting welfare programs. But here's the real kicker. She completely ignored that her own party has spent the last several years adding trillions to the national debt through reckless spending packages. She acted shocked that tax relief for American businesses and families might affect the deficit, while pretending illegal immigration, bloated welfare programs, and endless government expansion somehow don't. What Bessent did was simple. He pointed out that Washington cannot continue writing blank checks without accountability. He exposed how Democrats selectively care about the deficit only when they want to attack tax cuts but ignore it entirely when they're handing out benefits to illegal immigrants or expanding government dependency. This hearing made one thing clear. Democrats don't fear deficits. They fear losing control of the narrative. And this time, they lost it. If you want more honest breakdowns like this, the kind you'll never get on CNN or MSNBC, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to see what really happened.